This is a male Bristlenose Pleco guarding the entrance to his cave, because hiding at the back of the cave are a few dozen of his children. At this point, I've removed the cave from the breeding tank, and I've done this for a few different reasons. First of all, if I were to leave the male and his newly hatched fry in the breeding tank with the other adults, very few of the little ones would survive. So I take the male and his babies out and I put them in a 10-gallon tank with a large sponge filter. This makes it easy to monitor the progress of the baby plecos and make sure that they're getting enough to eat. But at this point, the babies aren't ready to leave the cave and start looking for food. However, they're curious like most children and quite capable of getting around all on their own. They make brief trips to the edge of the cave, and some have even ventured outside the cave to have a look around. But they know where home is, so they don't go very far. Once the little catfish have all left the cave to explore the rest of the tank, I'll remove the male and begin feeding the babies cooked spinach, algae wafers, and frozen green beans. I also like to keep driftwood in the tank for them to rasp on, which helps to ensure that they get enough fiber in their diet. I'll raise these fish up until they're about 1.25 to 1.5 inches in length. Then I'll bring them to a local shop where they'll give me $3 a piece in store credit. Then I'll let those store credits accumulate so that the next time I need to buy a few fish or some other fish-related item, it's already paid for. These bristlenose catfish are big sellers, so it works out well, and they help pay for my incurable case of multiple tank syndrome. My Bristlenose Plecos lay eggs about once a month, and it usually takes about 3 or 4 days for the eggs to hatch, and then it's another 4 or 5 days before the babies use up their yolk sacs and begin to wander away from the safety of the cave. And that's about where we're at now. These babies are just about ready to be on their own. If they're males, they'll start to grow their bristles at around 2 or 3 inches in length, which should take about 6 months. The females might also grow a few bristles, but they'll be smaller and confined to the edge of the mouth rather than the top of the head. I could have hatched these eggs without the help of the male bristlenose, and all that I would have needed to do was place an air stone running at full strength right at the entrance of the cave, and this would have kept the eggs clean and oxygenated until they hatched. These baby bristlenose will be ready to sell soon, and if I'm lucky, there'll be another batch of eggs within the next week or two, and then I get to start the whole process over again. But I don't really mind because it helps pay for new fish. And I gotta be honest with you, I really love fish.